All right, go on, guys.
Ready. Afternoon, my name is Bryan. I'm an undergraduate student at IUP, learning helping skills. We have 20 minutes to talk today. After one session, we will complete some measures and review the tape. Everything we talk about here today could be confidential. I want you to feel comfortable. The only exceptions to the confidentiality are if you express thoughts about hurting yourself or someone else, or if you mention any childhood physical or sexual abuse. Do you have any questions before we begin?
I do not.
You do not? All right. What would you like to talk about?
So I live by myself here at school, and I find myself getting very anxious at night. Like I have this like fear that someone's gonna break in and kill me, essentially.
So fear, like, what type of fear? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, what type of sensations or emotions are with this fear?
I would get very anxious, and I'll fall asleep for like a little bit of time, and then I find myself waking up like scared, and I try to calm myself down and tell myself like everything's fine, but then I just like every night I'm scared.
So what I'm hearing is you're falling asleep normally, and then after a little bit, you get startled awake by yourself,
Yeah.
right? And, you have a sense of, anxiety that you said, I believe your words were someone's going to break in.
Yeah.
Right. Now, would you mind my asking, is this based on something that may have happened in the past?
Nothing's ever happened before,
Yeah.
but I know like whenever I was little, I used to be scared.
Right.
And I moved in with my dad, and then I was fine. Like I used to live with my mom, and then I moved in with my dad, and I was fine. So I don't know like if that's just all coming up again, or like maybe it's just I hear a lot of things happen to people.
Right. Now, when you said you were little and you were scared, is it similar to how it was now?
Yeah.
So it's still manifesting with a lot of anxiety.
Yeah. But I guess I didn't really realize it at the time. I was just like, oh, I want to move in with my dad.
Right.
And then I felt a little more secure.
Secure how?
I don't know. I think like I knew he could protect me if something happened. Like there were things in the house that he could use to defend us.
Right. So you felt protected and secure and just, having that, your father with you. Right. Yeah. Now, are you, so like, can you walk me through, I'm going to rewind a little bit. Can you walk me through from when you wake up anxiously, startled out of sleep, till when you're able to fall asleep again, if you are able to fall asleep again?
So what happens like before that is I stay up super, super late, and I make sure that I'm like dead tired before I can fall asleep. And then I wake up and I'm like, I need to like calm myself down. I look at my dog and I'm like it's in my head, like it's not real. And then like I'm able to like sleep for the night. But it never fails. Every single night I wake up.
Yeah. Oh, being startled, it's difficult, especially like being like your sleep. Sleep is very crucial and having it. So, I can understand, why this would be presenting as a problem with you. Now, is this affecting any other aspects of your life?
I mean, I think I'm just like an anxious person in general. So if I don't sleep, then I often like want to sleep in during the day.
Right.
And then like I just have like a rough start to my day because I didn't sleep the night before. And then I'm just like sluggish all day. So, I mean, it does definitely affect my day.
Right. Absolutely. Now, are there other aspects in your life where you feel anxious just outside of this, being startled awake?
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
Like if I do, I try to like tell myself like everything will work out. Like if anything does come up, I'm just like, no, like it's okay. So I don't really think so. I just think it's just like this internal fear, like somebody's gonna break in. And I try to like make sure everything's locked up, but then I hear a story of somebody getting like broke into, like here on campus. So I'm like, it could definitely happen to me.
Well, absolutely. And those fears, and feelings that you're having are valid. They're legitimate, So, in other aspects of anxiety in your life, you seem to be able to, I hate to use the term self-soothe because it's for a child, but you're able to mitigate those with yourself,
Yeah,
right?
because I used to have like really, really bad anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and I went on medicine, hated it. So then I like kind of figured out like to calm myself
Yeah,
down like throughout the years
right.
and realize like it's not the end of the world.
So you were able to develop some coping mechanisms, or rather, just different ways to manage your anxiety in a way that worked for you,
Yeah.
right? Now, do you, I'm just curious as to, have you tried any of these with the anxiety that you experienced being awakened?
I have, and I don't, it doesn't really seem to work, but I lived alone last year in the same
Right.
exact apartment, same environment. Then I was never alone throughout the summer, so I don't know if maybe like that has something to do with it, or like
Yeah.
on the weekends I'm not alone so throughout the week I'm like, I just don't like being alone, or
Right. Right. So you don't like you. So what I'm hearing is that you don't like being alone.
no.
No, you don't like
But
being
I had to live alone because my roommate had like any problems. She didn't like my
alone.
dog, so then I had to
Right.
boot it out by myself.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that could be a difficult situation, especially with roommates. Aside from, the anxiety at night, is there anything else going on in your life that would be causing, any stressors or anything like that going?
School definitely stresses me out,
Mm-hmm.
I think, throughout the day and just like thinking about future homework
Yeah,
and just like life after school.
right,
So I think like that could definitely have something to do with it because it's
right.
nearing like I know we're graduating this
Absolutely,
year.
yeah, yes.
So I don't know if that's just like a buildup.
So right before when you go to sleep, what do you find? What do you find your mind? Or is your mind racing?
Yes.
It is. What kind of thoughts are you having?
I just like I lay down
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, I need to go to sleep. It's super late. And I look at my dog and he always lays next to me and I'm like, okay, like I'm good. But then it's just like constantly like somebody could break in the window, somebody could come through my door.
Right.
And then I try to tell myself like, this isn't like, it could happen, but it definitely not likely to happen. Like I have neighbors, I'm okay, but it just doesn't seem to help.
Right. So you're thinking someone could break in,
Yeah.
someone could, and God knows what could happen. And then it's bringing fear and it's bringing anxiety in
Yeah.
your life. And it's affecting you the following day because you're sluggish. And then you have all these other sort of things, legitimate worries. We're worried about, the unknown coming up with school.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
unknown is definitely, I definitely feel very like scared.
yeah. Well, it is. It is scary. Life can be, just not knowing what's going on. That certainly is traumatic. Not traumatic, but well, it could be traumatic.
It could be
It
traumatic.
could certainly be traumatic. I don't want to undermine or discount anyone's experiences, but yeah. Um, hmm,
So I don't know, like if graduation, because last year I was like, oh, I still have a whole nother year. So I don't know, like if that has something to do with it. Just like knowing, okay, like I'm not going to be back here. I have to like move on to real life. And like that's very stressful to think about. And then
mhm.
like all those different things. So if that's why I have extra stress.
It's, you know, okay, let me ask you this. Now let's fast forward a year or 2 years from now. And you're living on your own, you're working full time, or perhaps you're in grad school, but let's say you're working, and you have your dog and you're living alone. What do you think? What do you feel like? Do you feel like you would still have this anxiety then?
I don't think so
You
because
don't
I
think?
know like all the schooling would be over with and
Yeah.
like I could just get into like a normal routine every single day and then like I feel like the stress of school would be out of the way.
Yeah.
Or maybe like if I'm going to go to grad school, if I haven't yet, then I would be like, okay, I'm working, like I at least have a job.
hmm So what I'm hearing is that, perhaps this anxiety, while it still may have something to do with, legitimate fears, actualized fears that someone could break into your house, but there's other parts at play here.
Yeah.
Extenuating facts of, extenuating circumstances of life, you know. So, it's like, I don't ask you what's the worst case scenario of something, because like, I think you and I both know what the worst case scenario is.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's try and maybe perhaps reframe this. If, let me ask you a question. What's your
Okay.
life look like if, everything goes exactly the way you want it?
If everything goes exactly the way I
Yeah,
want
what
it,
does it look like for you?
I graduate,
Yeah.
I go to grad school, I get a really good job, hopefully in a school, I live with
Mm-hmm.
my boyfriend, hopefully we're like nearing marriage.
Right.
That's like the middle part, and then, get married, have kids, have a good life.
Absolutely.
So just to get through school and
Mm-hmm.
everything goes perfectly, have a good job.
No, those are the events. What are the feelings behind
I feel like I would, I feel like I would not have, I feel like I would have new anxiety, but
it? Sure.
it would be different, hopefully not as bad,
Yeah.
because it would just be like, oh, like, what are my kids doing? Or
Hmm.
just more worried about
Right.
them than myself.
Yes. Yes.
And I would definitely feel happy, I think.
Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess what I'm trying to think of here is, getting us from, um, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Getting us from, now. And like you said, you're still going to feel and experience anxiety. Anxiety, not to self-disclose, but, well, I guess I am. So I am going to self-disclose. I experience anxiety as well, and I think, most humans do,
And I think in different ways they do.
Yeah,
Some not as bad as others. But.
And the way you express anxiety, in the different circumstances, it comes out as fear, and fear could be the fear of the unknown. I'm hearing a lot of fear of the unknown. It's because, whether it's at your apartment, I'm fearing of like what could happen, or I'm looking at the future, I'm fearing what's going to be.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, um, is realistically right now, is there anything any major hurdles, between where you want to be, living with your boyfriend, with your dog, perhaps having kids? What hurdles are there right now in your life to getting there?
Well, I think so. What I would like to do is find a job before I apply to grad school, so there'll be some gaps.
Yeah.
But finding a job, like I've been looking,
Mm-hmm.
like what I could do if I just had like a bachelor's degree.
Right.
And it always says like you need a year experience
Mm-hmm.
or you need a master's degree. So that's like also kind of like making me nervous because I'm like, how do you get experience if you're not working?
Right. Well, I mean, have you met any other people I mean, based on my information, and I'm not trying to tell you, anything, but it seems to me that like, this is a common situation and other people do it, as far as like getting experience and stuff like that. So what does the evidence here dictate? Do you think, so you genuinely believe that you won't, well, let me rewind here. God, so I'll edit that out. Um, Is there, so that's what I'm hearing right now is that, again, there's a fear that you won't be able to get this job because you don't have the experience, right? Now, is there anything else, perhaps, is there anything you could do? It might not be a vocation or a full-time employment where you would be able to get experience.
I think I could definitely try to like look and like talk to different people and see like what can I do to get experience or like, but I don't know, like my dad, he really pressures, like, I think he has a big factor in all this too. Like, he's definitely pressuring me, like, how you need to get a job. And, like,
Right.
he used to freak out, like, and I think which made me freak out.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's kind of more chill, but, like, he put that pressure on me, so the pressure's still there.
Right, right. Now, do you think perhaps, worst case scenario. when you get out of school, whether it's your bachelor's or your master's, and you apply for jobs, and they're all asking they want a year of experience.
Yeah.
Could I ask you, do you think there would be other things, maybe working in an adjacent field to get
Yeah.
experience, or perhaps even volunteering? What you had said earlier is that you would like to work with children,
Yeah.
correct? And ultimately, I believe you would like to work in a school.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with children, which could be challenging, but very fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's a very fulfilling. And I want you, just before I get too far, I think I'd like to commend you because,
Thank you.
I definitely certainly would because, working with children, I mean, they are the future.
But they're very difficult to work with.
Yes, yes, they are. I have one of my own. So, well, actually, we have about 5 minutes left here. So, just in summary, what we went over today is we explored a little bit of your anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and it started, it became mostly noticeable at night, thinking
Yeah.
about it. And now, it's the fear of the unknown, right?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely put it into a different perspective because I was just thinking like in the moment, but like hearing all these different things, I'm like, I definitely think that it's just not knowing,
Mhm.
like not being able to control every situation and just trying to learn to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, is there ever going to be a time in your life where you'll know everything?
No,
No.
it will not be.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's difficult. It's very difficult.
It is.
It's scary. It can be very alarming and scary. But I think it can make life exciting in
I
a
do
way.
too.
Yeah.
And you never know what's gonna happen. I
Never.
could look back on this in 10 years and be like, I used to stress over nothing. And I definitely think